Do you remember that sound? That simple, constant chirping that was kind of the background music to your childhood? That cheerful noise that just filled up our mornings and evenings? Well, today we're going to explore the story of the bird that made that sound and why we're hearing it less and less. We're looking into the story of the disappearing sparrow. This quote just hits right at the heart of it, doesn't it? For so many generations, the sparrow wasn't just some bird. It was a real companion, a familiar, fluttering presence that was, just always there. It was part of the soundtrack of our daily lives, a little feathered neighbor we probably took for granted. So let's get reacquainted with this neighbor we've all been missing. What exactly is the house sparrow, and why was it so closely connected to us in the first place? What's really remarkable is just how ancient and widespread this little bird is. The sparrow is one of the oldest bird species on the entire planet, a true survivor. It's evolved to live right alongside us, adapting to pretty much every climate you can think of and spreading to every single continent, except, of course, the icy deserts of Antarctica. It became a symbol of simple joy for a reason, because it was such a constant, reassuring part of our world. But that constant presence, it's fading. That cheerful soundtrack is being turned way, way down. And this section explores the silent reality we're all starting to face. And this is this stark, honest truth. That bird that was once literally everywhere is now a rare sight in so many places. You can actually go looking for it in cities and towns where it used to thrive and find absolutely nothing. The background noise of our lives has changed, and its absence is, frankly, deeply unsettling. And this is why it matters so much. It isn't just about missing a cute bird. The disappearance of a common, super adaptive species like the sparrow is what scientists call an ecological warning. It's like the canary in the coal mine, but for the entire planet. It's a direct signal that environmental pressures like pollution and radiation are becoming too much for even the toughest species to handle. So this brings us to the big question. Besides its cheerful song, why does this little bird actually matter so much? I mean, what role does it really play? Well, it turns out this tiny bird has a huge job description. It's a protector of our food, an assistant to plants, and a vital link in the whole natural order. Let's break down these three critical roles. When you look closer, their impact is massive. As a crop protector, sparrows eat tons of insects and pests that would otherwise be destroying our food supplies. They also keep mosquito populations in check, which helps reduce the spread of disease. As they hop from plant to plant, they're acting as natural pollinators. And finally, they are a fundamental piece of the food chain, providing food for larger predators like hawks and owls. They aren't just living in the ecosystem, they are actively working to keep it balanced. Okay, so if the sparrow is so important and so adaptable, what on earth could be causing it to just vanish? The answer, unfortunately, lies with us. We really need to look at our own footprints on the environment. This contrast really gets to the core of the problem. We have systematically taken apart the world the sparrow was built to live in. We ripped out the native trees and plants that gave them insects and safe places to nest and replaced them with foreign, ornamental ones. We paved over open courtyards, creating concrete jungles, and we've soaked our environment in chemicals. To get really specific, these are the main drivers. Rapid deforestation and urbanization have just wiped out their habitats. The pesticides we use poison their food source, the insects, and often the birds themselves. Modern buildings with all their sleek, sealed designs offer zero nooks or crannies for them to build a nest. And even that old tradition of leaving out grain and water for birds has faded, cutting off yet another lifeline. So where does this leave us? We have to seriously consider what the future sounds like, and whether that iconic chirp is even going to be a part of it. This is the question we really have to ask ourselves. Is this bird, this symbol of our shared history with the natural world, is it going to become a myth? Something we have to describe to our kids because they'll never get to see or hear one for themselves? Because when a species goes extinct, we don't just lose the animal, we lose everything it represents. We're talking about losing an entire branch of the evolutionary tree, millions of years of history and adaptation gone. We also mess up the lives of countless other species that depended on it, creating a domino effect that we can't even fully predict. And this right here is the call to action. Symbolic gestures like celebrating a sparrow day once a year, it's just not going to work. The problem wasn't created in a day, and it can't be fixed with a day. The solution requires a huge shift in our daily actions, creating and maintaining an environment where nature can actually live with us. Ultimately, the fate of the sparrow is tied directly to our own. Protecting this small, seemingly insignificant bird is really a test. It's about whether we have the foresight to protect the delicate ecological balance that we too depend on for our own survival. Saving the sparrow, in the end, is really about saving ourselves.